Hello from Gardening at Twence in Ireland, and this video is an orchid update from the grow room. And before we get stuck into the video, as usual, I want to take a moment or two to talk about the collaborative growing that we're doing here on this channel. And various people from around the world are growing a plant for my beloved son Josh, who died. I'm linking to the video above, which explains a little bit more about it. In any case, the two people that I want to give an update on today and tell you about are, as usual, one from Europe and one from outside of Europe. And the one in Europe is Chiku, and he's in Moldova. Now, many of you will already be familiar with Chiku's channel. He posts videos on a variety of plant-related topics. Now, Chiku is growing a trio for Josh. He's growing a mini Phalaenopsis, he's growing a Maranta, and he's growing what he thinks is a Hoya. So that's just wonderful. And I'm linking up above to the video that Chiku made about the three plants he's growing for Josh. Thank you so much, Chiku. And the second person I want to mention is in Ohio, in the United States, and it's Michelle Lindsay. Now, Michelle is an avid gardener who's been gardening for a number of years and just recently taken up orchids. And she finds that her collection is expanding, as we all find when we get bit by the orchid bug. Michelle is growing a hibiscus starry night for my Josh. And Michelle has a wonderful pig planter, which also reminds her of Josh. So thank you very much, Michelle. And as usual, you'll see photos of Michelle and Chiku's plants at the very end of this video. It's a very rainy day outside, and you know, we're in September now, so the light isn't going to get any better. So I thought I'd better make this video now while there's still, well, as best light as there can possibly be for this time of year. So we'll just get right stuck into it. Now, this is my grow room, and it's the room that I keep a large number of my orchids in. And I keep them mostly on these tables here on top of humidity trays. See the clay pebbles down there that are topped up with water in summer and not in winter. Now, last time we were in this grow room, you may recall I had a fan going, and there was that video I made about tillandsias where the fan fell off the bed and smashed. Well, that's what happened, it smashed, and that fan is gone. Now, I had problems using it, and the main problem was that it was too strong for the position I had it in. I couldn't place it far enough back from my orchids that it didn't just desiccate them very quickly. So it was drying them out, and I didn't get away with watering just once a week, which, as we all know, is what I like to do. And besides, my problem with the cattleyas seems to have stabilised now, so, well, fingers crossed, touch wood and all that kind of thing. So, what will I show you? My goodness, I hardly know where to start, and perhaps I'll start with this particular Cattleya. It's a mini Cattleya that I bought in France last year when I visited the Lycaste orchid nursery in Brittany or Normandy. And can you see that there? I actually have a bud coming. Now, this must be the kind of Cattleya that doesn't produce a sheath, because it didn't produce a sheath, and I have one bud. Just one, but that's good. Next up, we have the Howeara I got from Archie, and Archie sent me a number of orchids a while back. And look, can you see there? There's another spike coming, just there. So I can look forward to pretty small golden flowers with little dark markings on them before very long. What have we got here? Here beside it we have the Odontoglossum, the red one, the Stirbic, and this is putting out two strong new growths. Now, this doesn't really seem to take very much light at all. I suspected it had some kind of bug on it at one stage and put it in isolation on a north facing window, and it still managed to bloom for me last year, so I really don't think it's one that needs much light at all. Well, we all know oncidiums need less light than cattleyas, for example, but that one would be some kind of extreme. Moving over here, and I want to show you this little baby here, which I bought at the Dublin Orchid Show the year before last, I think, and it's a Phaius, tankervilleae, and it was quite small when I bought it. Now this needs to get enormous before its flowering size, so I have a good way to go yet, but it's doing really quite well. I grow it in sphagnum and it puts up lots of these new growths, but you really have to be careful, because if you try and remove the brown sheaths, it's very easy to break off those new growths. So yeah, careful does it. Nice leaves. I like orchids with the pleated leaves. Over here we have my one and only Bulbophyllum. This one was bought by mistake. Not my mistake, the nursery's mistake, but anyway, so I have a medusae, and this is a plant that produces white drooping flowers, and they really look quite magnificent when it's covered in a whole load of cascades of them, so it's doing really well. And beside it we have this orchid, Promenaea. This is the one that Danni sent me from Romania when she used to have her channel in Romania. We did a bit of a plant swap a while back, and I noticed that Zane recently complained about his Promenaea not doing well and losing leaves. Well, I can tell you mine also loses leaves. I just don't worry about it. So I hope these new growths will produce flowers. So now we're over on the paph side of the table, and I am doing something different with my paphs at the moment, which I'll show to you. Now this particular paph has sphagnum, as you can see, as the top layer over the bark. Oh, this one's in a double pot. Okay, so what I find with the paphs is that they send down new roots, but they send them from quite high up in the plant. So if you have the plant properly potted with, you know, the level as it should be, then the plant sends up a new root. Don't mind that bit of sphagnum there. And the new root then is standing proud of the compost, and it's not getting hydrated, so they tend to shrivel up. So what I've done with the majority of my paphs, and I don't have a whole lot, I mean, you know, I wouldn't pretend to be any kind of expert with these, but I've topped them with sphagnum, and hopefully that'll help them to produce better growths and to just do better. This is the complex American hybrid with no name, which is doing really well, and I hope this will flower for me soon. I have them in see-through pots, but I place the see-through pots into a clay pot so that, you know, it just reduces the light going in and means that I don't get algae in that growing in the pot. And I just wanted to show you this one because this is one that my son Josh, there he is, he painted it for me. Now over there in the window at the very top right, that's my Rhyncholaelia Frances Fox, and I do have a bit of good news about her. I'm just going to reach in and get her down, so so here she is. I've just put her down here so I can show you a bit better. Now I've been disappointed with this plant because the new growths are definitely smaller than the previous ones, which is a sign that, you know, the plant isn't doing as well as it used to, so that's not good. But what I do notice in this new growth here is, if we look in here, I think that is a bud. Yes, most definitely a bud. So that's, well, an excellent sign. And here in my hand is another orchid I want to show you, also in the Cattleya alliance, and this is one I got from Anna Maria in Romania, and it's called Maikai Spotted Star. Now this struggled for a bit, but I do notice, and when I got it I think it had this new growth, but the new growth stalled, it just didn't continue anymore. So this is the new growth, and obviously it's smaller than the previous ones, but if we look inside there, there's a little sheath in it. So could this very small growth be thinking about flowering? I don't know. We'll have to see. See, compare that to the size of the previous growths. But anyway, I'll keep my eyes peeled on that. The plant seems to be doing well now, so even if that doesn't materialise as a flower, I will expect better things from it next year. And just while we're talking about the plants I got from Anna Maria, we have here the Lycaste that she sent me, which you may recall had a bit of a mishap, and my cat knocked it on the floor and one of the pseudobulbs came off, but it's sending out this quite large new growth, and yeah, so hopefully this will do better now. This is one of my 3 Lycastes, so, and this was the first one I got, so thank you very much, Anna Maria. Over here we have 2000 Spike, and this is my oldest one, the Baldan's Kaleidescope, and it is spiking. It's a lateral spike from one that has previously flowered, as phals can do if you prune them correctly, with 3 buds. Well, that's not an enormous number, but 3 is definitely better than none, so I'm looking forward to those flowers soon. And beside it, the elegant peach phal that I bought on a whim one Christmas had a wonderful spike which had a bit of a mishap during watering day, so that's really sad, but I'm hoping that it will now spike from that that point there. In fact, I'm quite sure it will, but I just have to be more careful on watering day. And here in front of us we have a miniature Cattleya, a species one. Now this is walkeriana, which I could confirm if I could find the label, and I just love it to bits because I love the roundy shape of the leaves, really fun. Plus the fact that it's a short and stubby plant, but produces the most fat roots. I mean, look at those, they're indecently fat, and they tie in with the stubbiness of the, you know, the pseudobulbs. You see, the previous pseudobulbs are really quite fat, and the new one. So it has oodles of character. Now, as you can see, this new growth is unfolding its leaf, but as far as I recall, this species Cattleya sends out flower spikes from the base, like Cattleya nobilior, so it doesn't mean that I may have a flower spike soon, the fact that this leaf is unfurling. But it's a good sign no matter what way you look at it. And behind it, we also have a second species Cattleya. This is glauca, and I got this from my friend Liga, who managed to get it to sheath but never to flower. Now, I've been speaking to Alberto from Orchidaholic channel, and I'm just going to link to Alberto's channel up above. You really should check his out if you don't know him already, because he has some magnificent plants, and just recently managed to flower Cattleya digbyana, I think it was. But yeah, and Alberto advises to put the plant outdoors in summer, which, well, I haven't done, so yeah, I don't know if this one is going to flower anytime soon. The problem with the glauca and generally speaking, the Rhyncholaelia orchids is that they need a lot of light, a lot of light, and as we all know here in Ireland, light is not our strong point. So yeah, we'll see, but it's a healthy looking plant with plenty of new growths, see down there, and plenty of dustiness on the leaves. There's a kind of film on these kind of leaves that shouldn't be washed off, as it's an integral part of the plant. And here at the back of the room we have some of my phals. That's a masdevallia there, up there, and they are doing quite well. Last but not least, I want to show you my Cattleya forbesii, and it is in here. Let me see if I can reach it out without doing untold damage. Now this is a Cattleya, species Cattleya, that doesn't require as much light as most of them. Like, light is the thing with many of them. And this one has quite a different habit to the species Cattleyas we've just been looking at. It has very tall, thin pseudobulbs, and mine actually look quite wrinkled. Now this plant can flower twice a year if you're lucky. It's never done that for me, although it's tried to. But at the moment, as you can see, it's produced a sheath which has most definitely flower buds there on the inside. So I do look forward to this one flowering for me in a month's time. Nothing happens very quickly, really, does it, with orchids? Anyway, it's to look forward to. I do have only one growth in sheath, but, well, that's better than none, isn't it? And now we have a bit of sunshine coming in over the orchids, and they look really quite nice when that happens. But that's all I'm going to show you for the moment, because it's really too blooming hard to fetch these orchids out. And besides, I'm sure you're all very bored now at this stage. So check back again for lots more orchid and other plant videos. Thanks very much. Bye now.